everyone, my name is Stab, and welcome to another video. Let me set the stage for you. It's the 2000s, you're from a poor family, and you're staying at your grandma's house. You look at her old VHS TV, and you're getting ready to watch your favorite movie. An American Tail. Oh boy. I loved that movie with all my heart. Even with its flaws, I loved it. So let me summarize a bit of the plot for you here. An American Tail is a 1980s film. The time period it takes place in is, I presumably think, is the Victorian era. We start off with Fievel's family celebrating Hanukkah, giving gifts to each other. And they start talking about America and how there's no cats there. Eventually they have to leave America because, guess what? Because of the cats! Yes, they attack and destroy their home. So they leave off to America. Eventually, Fievel gets separated from his family because of a storm and getting trapped in a bottle. He does make it to America and meets a pigeon that sings the best song, Never Say Never, which is a good song. Eventually, Fievel meets this rat-type character, and, well, you can tell he's a scam artist, which some immigrant families did deal with. And Fievel eventually gets trapped in child labor. To put it softly, he doesn't stay there long though, as he escapes with one of his newest companions, Tony! Tony! Yeah! Let's clap for Tony. And they eventually meet Bridget, another mouse who is sick of the cats here, and she wants to also kind of get rid of them. And Tony and Bridget really like each other. It's so funny, honestly. Oh yeah, you guys remember that one rat character? Oh, yeah, guess what? He's a cat, too. Eventually, Fievel and the other mice make a giant mouse contraption that scares the cats away. And Fievel also makes friends with a cat named Tiger, and all is well, and the trauma definitely didn't stay with him. Everything ends up good. He reunites with his family and all that. Of course, that's a brief summarization, okay? Sorry. Okay, not my best summary, but, you know. Did you know there was a second movie? An American Tail, the treasure of Manhattan's Island. What? Hold on, what do you mean that's not the second movie? What the hell is the second movie then? Oh. An American Tail, Fievel Goes West. The plot's pretty much in the name. Now, before you think I'm gonna be a total asshole to this movie, I like westerns, and I don't hate this movie entirely. I just think it could have done better. There's a lot of flaws with it, such as Tiger all of a sudden having a girlfriend out of nowhere, the family struggling in New York all of a sudden, when they didn't struggle that much before, or at least we didn't see it, which is perfectly fine. Many immigrant families did leave New York eventually, but I also can't get behind the jarring juxtaposition of the art style. It's a lot, and I can't. Of course, the songs are still good, a little less than the original, but I still like them. As I said, I don't hate this movie. I just think it could have done better as a sequel. Also, I really don't like this fucking cat. I don't like him. I think he's a pedophile. And before someone gets mad at me, you're allowed to like him. I just think he's a damn pedo, okay? He's creepy. He has a weird obsession with Fievel's sister that I just don't like. It's gross. Really fucking gross. Just like some of you freaks shipping Fievel with his sister. Go sit in the corner. Okay. Now you all must be wondering, how did I get this movie confused for this movie? Well, when I was a young child in the 2000s, I would stare at the back of the VHS boxes, and I think my brain just melded the movies together for some reason. Like, say what you want about the second movie, how the fuck did I get it mixed up with the third-ass, also kind of really bad movie? Although, I will say this, the animation style is more close to the original film, and I'll die on that damn grave. Anyway, you big babies, how am I gonna make a better second movie? Well, I'm gonna take this movie and combine it with this movie! Alright, let's set the stage on this one. Fievel reunites with his family. Everything's wonderful again. Everyone's happy. Fievel is excited to live his new life in America, especially totally getting rid of all the cats in the United States of America and everything. And then, 3 years later, Fievel and his family are kind of going through a rough patch right now. Fievel does have a job at a young age because, woo, child labor! But he still has a chip on his shoulder and is still hopeful. He's learned a thing or two from his best friend, Tony. Now his sister, Tanya, gave up on her dreams to be a singer and is in a sewing factory. She does not tolerate Fievel's optimism and dreaminess. She's given up on that. So she's a lot more hard-headed and kind of mean. Now Tanya and Fievel's baby sister, who I totally didn't forget to bring up. Anyway, Fievel and Tanya's baby sister is optimistic just like Fievel, much to Tanya's annoyance. She doesn't have to work, luckily, so no child labor for her, and she also may or may not have a herd of birds that work for her. As I said, Tanya and Fievel both have jobs because their family's going through a rough patch. So where the hell does Fievel work? Well, Tony! Tony started his own little shop business with his wife, Bridget. Yeah, that's right, they're fucking married. Yeah, they're married, yeah! Anyway, this was kind of a slight scene in the second movie where Fievel goes west. It's a blink or you'll miss it kind of scene. But you know what? I'm not making Tony a man whore in this one. So they're married. This is my second movie. What I say goes. I do what I want. Okay, sorry. Back on topic. As I said, Tony owns a store that Fievel works at. So, Fievel's getting a good fair's pay. Bridget, as of right now, through the movie, that is pregnant, again with their second kid, and she's on I'd say a war path to make sure all kids are educated and people have their rights, because hell yeah, we love a strong woman, and their child, baby noises. Now, you all must be asking, where does Fievel's treasure of Manhattan Island come from? Well, there's a character in that movie named Colena. If I said that wrong, I don't have a text-to-speech right now, so I have to go with what my brain can comprehend. Anyway, in the movie, Fievel and her kind of have a thing, which if you ask me, totally ship them, totally love them. Only for them to rip the rug right from under me and have Tony have a thing for her? Tony, where's your wife? Where's Bridget? They do this in the other movies, too. I'm sorry, I can't. His name is Tony. He ain't pulling that much back. Anyway, Tony is significantly older, and I figured she was the same age as Fievel. That, and I'm a Bridget stan, so yeah. Colena lives with her aunt in New York. Her adoptive aunt, to be more specific. She seems to have lost all desires and all want in her life to be better, and she eventually meets Fievel in Tony's store, and things start to look hopeful. Her motivations are to eventually make it back to her dad out west. Now you must be asking, well, who's the bad guy? Well, there's a fourth American Tail movie called The Mystery of the Night Monster, and the bad guy is this freaking dog, who, in my opinion, reminds me of Mother Gothel. So, what I decided to do was take the personality of this dog and Mother Gothel and turn her into a fucking weasel. Now, what's her motivation? Well, child labor, of course. Duh! She portrays herself as a loving auntie who's willing to teach your children for a somewhat normal price. She taught her niece how to be a respectable lady. So, obviously, Fievel's parents thinks it's a good deal, considering Fievel and Tanya didn't go to school, so they can send their youngest daughter to school so then she could probably have a better education, which any family would want for their child. Well, as I've said, this bitch loves child labor and is totally running a sweat factory. Even her own niece, adopted niece, is in the sweat factory. Now, you must be asking, oh, where does she meet Fievel? Well, in Tony's store while Fievel's working. And, you know, Fievel being Fievel, the little kooky shithead he is, he's like, hey, I want to hang out with you more. I think you're neat. And she starts sneaking out in the middle of the night to hang out with Fievel against her aunt's wishes. And they start getting along, and everything starts actually looking up. Tanya finds a job as a singer, just like how she always wanted. Bridget, though, starts to look into this school, quote-unquote, and finds out this bitch is running a fucking sweatshop. Bridget talks to Kalena about it, thinking she's also involved with it, not knowing she's also a sweatshop worker. Eventually, she explains that to Bridget, which, you know, is awful, duh. And she's welcome to stay with Tony and her if she would like. Kalena, though, unfortunately gets trapped by her aunt, and, you know, as I said, she's kind of like Mother Gothel, so, you know, she does the most Mother Gothel thing you could do, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, and, she's downright bad and does something horrible to Kalena. Eventually, Fievel and his family and everyone finds out that bitch is running child labor places. And Fievel does find Kalena, and they defeat that fucking baddie, thanks to you-know-who's birds. And Fievel and Kalena eventually leave out west to go find Kalena's dad. And, you know, everyone lives happily ever after the end. And that's my idea for a second movie. Is it perfect? No, I don't think it's perfect at all. But, you know what? Who cares? I had fun doing this. And I quite enjoyed myself. I hope you all enjoyed this. Maybe I'll make it animatic or something of a scene, just for shits and giggles. If you guys want to see that, go ahead and ask. And if you want more of my ramblings, maybe I could do one on something else I like, or one of your guys' recommendations. Have a nice day. Like and subscribe and comment.